I blame social media for this entirely. 100%. Because I was happily existing in my own little literary corner of the internet, reading books, minding my own business, bothering absolutely nobody, and then the algorithm decided I need to know that Tyra Banks wrote a young adult dystopian novel. A novel, not a memoir, not a behind-the-scenes look at modelling, not a collection of career stories. A young adult dystopian fantasy called Modelland. And because I apparently make terrible decisions, I read it. Now, before we continue, there is one thing we are not discussing: the promotional single. No, I've listened to it once. One time I've listened. The single. One. And somehow it's permanently attached itself to my Apple Music account like a cursed object. You know those stories where someone reads from an ancient book and unleashes an evil spirit? That was me pressing play. We're moving on. Anyway, Modelland. A book that asks the question, what if Hogwarts existed but everyone is training to become a supermodel? A question literally nobody was asking. Yet somehow, Tyra Banks heard the silence and said, I've got this. The basic premise is exactly what you think it is. A girl gets kidnapped, taken away to this school, and she learns how to become an elite model. That's it. That's the story. It's Hogwarts. It's America's Next Top Model. It's every YA dystopia trend from the late 2000s stuffed into a blender, pureed until all originality was removed. Reading this felt like opening a time capsule from an era where publishers saw the Hunger Games making money and collectively lost their minds. Back when the publishing industry looked at every successful dystopian novel and said, okay, but what if this version has a special girl? What if she was different? What if there was a system? What if the system was bad? What if there was a love interest? What if there was a love triangle? What if there were secret powers? And then somebody cashed a check. Modelland feels like the final boss of that era. It's so predictable that I genuinely started guessing plot points before I turned the page. And that's not because I'm some literary genius, by the way, because the book practically sends you a calendar event before every reveal. The surprise arrived with all the subtlety of a marching band kicking down your front door. And the thing is, I don't even know if I'm genuinely angry about it, because it's almost charming. Almost. It's the literary equivalent of someone attempting a backflip, immediately falling into a hedge and then standing up and pretending like that was the plan all along. You admire the confidence. You question the execution, and the writing itself is a lot. Not complicated, not deep, not layered, just a lot. Every page feels like it's desperately trying to convince you that you're reading something profound. It's constantly nudging you in the ribs with its elbow. Did you get the message? Did you understand the symbology? Did you see the commentary? And I'm sitting here, yes, I saw it. You literally pied me in the face with it. The book wants to say something about beauty standards. It wants to say something about fame. It wants to say something about the modelling industry. And it wants to say something about identity. The problem is that wanting to say something and actually saying something are two massively different things. It's like watching someone confidently walk up to a microphone and forget the speech halfway through. The deeper themes never really go anywhere. They're just sort of hovered around, like in the background, looking important. Probably designed by Balenciaga. Like, that's the best way to describe it. Which ironically is exactly where this book kind of belongs, looking pretty on a bookshelf. And then there are the characters. Oh, the characters. I've met cardboard boxes with more personality. Every conversation feels like everyone involved was given one personality trait and instructed not to deviate from it under any circumstances. It's exhausting. Nobody feels real. Nobody feels human. Nobody feels like they were organic. They don't feel like they were born. Everyone feels like they were designed in a corporate meeting and made in a laboratory. The kind of meeting that says, what's trending with young people? And another person just chimes in, I don't know, but I'll put more of it in. And look, I know. This book is ghostwritten. And I have absolutely nothing against ghostwriters. Ghostwriters do incredible work. Some of the best celebrity books you've ever read were written by ghostwriters. That's not an issue. The issue is, whoever was involved in this project, people-wise, was being asked to build a house on foundations made entirely of marketing trends. And eventually the whole thing collapses. What fascinated me the most isn't that the book is bad. Plenty of books are bad. I've read bad books before. I've probably recommended bad books before. What fascinates me is the sheer confidence. The absolute confidence. Because this wasn't presented as a silly little side project. It was meant to be a major franchise, a trilogy. Whole thing, an event, an empire. The book arrived like it was expecting theme park rides. And then the trilogy just didn't happen. Which might be the most honest review the universe could possibly provide. The sequel never showing up feels like less like cancellation and more like natural healing. And here's where it gets awkward. I kind of respect Tyra Banks for doing this. Seriously. I admire the sheer audacity. Most people wake up and think, maybe I'll answer some emails today. Tyra Banks woke up and thought, what if I created a dystopian fantasy modelling universe? That level of confidence should be studied by scientists. I don't have that kind of self-belief. I struggle with text messages. Meanwhile, Tara was building Hogwarts for runway models. There's something almost inspiring about that. Completely misguided, but inspirational. I think that's why this book is strange and fascinating, because underneath all the bad writing, predictable plotting, and accidental comedy, you can see someone who really wanted to be taken seriously. Somebody wanted people to see more than just a model, more than America's Next Top Model, more than just a TV personality. We do not talk about her chat show and that infamous interview with Naomi Campbell. Yikes. I've never watched the interviews. I know this is a weird side note, but the interviews on her show are so awkward. It's comical. But this book felt like someone saying, look, I have ideas too. The problem is that the ideas needed another 5 years in the oven. Actually, no, maybe 10, 15, just to be safe. And the funny thing is, I don't even think this is the worst celebrity novel ever written. It's not even close. But it might be one of the strangest, because most celebrity books either lean into what made the celebrity famous, or they completely reinvent themselves, and somehow this does both. It's a modelling story that refuses to admit it's a modelling story. A fantasy that barely feels fantastical. A dystopia that never understands why dystopia works. It's trying to be everything at once, and in doing so, becomes absolutely nothing. Except unintentionally hilarious, which, to be fair, is still something. By the end, I wasn't angry. There was no emotional devastation. I was just sitting there, wondering how this got published. How did this happen? Who approved it? How many meetings occurred before someone actually said, yes, Hogwarts, but make it America's Next Top Model? And more importantly, why did nobody stop them? So if you're looking for a genuinely good dystopian novel, read literally anything else. If you're looking for thoughtful commentary about beauty standards, read literally anything else. If you're looking for compelling characters, literally anything else. But if you're looking for a bizarre artifact from the peak of the YA dystopian era, a book so aggressively of its time it practically smells like 2011, a book that feels like it escaped from an alternative universe, where even publishing executives had a fever dream simultaneously, then congratulations. Modelland exists. I know because social media infected this knowledge upon me, and now I'm infecting you with it. No, inflicting. That's better. That's a better word. So I'll leave this one here. If you like this video, leave a comment, become part of the conversation. Tell me what you think. Have you read it? That's a question. Did anyone read this book? And remember to hit that subscribe button, bell icon, and if you want to help keep the lights on, channel memberships, and Patreon exist for early access, a podcast, and other exclusive goodies.